Until someone else drops 37 points in a quarter or scores 60 points with just a few dribbles. Arguably no one will ever match Klay's nuclear scoring ability. Talk about catch and shoot and the flick of the wrist. Is there anyone in the history of basketball that can bury a team with a three-point shooting avalanche like Klay Thompson? Still thinking? Let's revisit the 5 games in Klay's career that proved he is the second best shooter ever. Let's get deep into this, but before going straight to the content, here is the brand new information on the channel, is that 3 lucky winners will get a chance to win PS5. Only you have to comment your views on Klay Thompson's best ever shooting abilities in the comments section below. Let's start today's topic. Number 5. Klay's 14 threes versus the Chicago Bulls. What makes this Klay performance even crazier was that he came into this game in a rare shooting slump. To start the 2018 season, Klay was only shooting 39% from the floor through the first few games of the season, until one night against Chicago when Bulls fans got to witness arguably the most explosive scoring performance since the MJ Dynasty days. Klay had 6 three-pointers in only the first quarter, which was more threes than he made through the first 7 games of the season. You knew Klay was going to have that kind of night when he hit a step-back contested three-pointer in the corner to get the party started. Then, he hit 3 after 3 after 3 to give him 22 first-quarter points on June 7th from downtown. Klay pretty much ran Chicago out of the gym to start the first quarter, and it looked like Chicago had no chance of winning the game, but Klay didn't care. So in the second quarter, Klay kept firing away for 14 more points, including 4 more threes. After a collision with his teammate who could have convinced Steve Kerr to yank him from the game and miss out on the opportunity to break Steph's three-point record, Klay put on a headband and went God mode. In less than 8 minutes played in the fourth, Klay poured in 16 points and 4 more threes. With this last 3 of the game that gave him 52 points and an NBA record 14 three-pointers in a game. And get this, Klay had a greater number of threes than dribbles. Yes, dribbles. He bounced the rock only 11 times. Klay knew he had just broken the record when he hit his 14th three of the night. He roared in celebration as the United Center was treated to one of the most dazzling shooting displays ever, and a time they'll always remember. Number 4. 43 points on 4 dribbles. Wait, doesn't a player scoring a lot of points mean that he probably dribbled a lot? Klay Thompson, just 71 days after scoring 52 on 11 dribbles versus Chicago, scored 43 points on just 4 dribbles versus the Knicks in 2019. I guess Klay is the first guy in NBA history that said the hell with dribbling. He hit his first 9 shots without dribbling even once, and when he finally did dribble, he dribbled just once before hitting a left-wing jumper, making it 10 shots made and 1 dribble. It's one thing if Klay was just catching and shooting threes all game long, but he was somehow, someway, scoring at every level on the floor and still managed to rarely dribble. I mean, it's just absurd to think about. He hit 11 shots that weren't threes, 18 29 shots and 7 threes, by dribbling 4 times. Okay, I think I said it enough. Number 3. 60 points in 29 minutes. Some stats I'm going to share with you about Klay Thompson's performance will probably blow your mind. 60 points are insane enough, let alone doing it in less than 30 minutes of action. By the way, Klay became the first player ever to record a 60-point game in less than 30 minutes of play. Klay is the first to do a lot of things. Even the fact that he held the ball in his hands for only 88.4 seconds throughout the entire game, and he still got 60. If you're wondering how many dribbles he took this game, yeah, he only took 11 to score 60 points. Talk about efficiency. Klays is second to none. What's even crazier is that Klay thought he dribbled even fewer times than he did when he tweeted, "I don't think I had to take more than 5 dribbles the whole game, lol." Steve Kerr pulled Klay from the game early, so he didn't play in the fourth quarter. But at one point during with the 60-point explosion, Klay was on pace for a 100-point game. Seriously. Imagine if Klay played the whole game against the Indiana Pacers that day. To frame this better, when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points, he scored at a pace of 2.08 points per minute. When Klay scored 60, his pace was nearly identical to Wilt's with a pace of 2.07 points per minute. Alright, Steve Kerr, the next time Klay goes bonkers with 60 points in like 25 minutes, please let him finish the game. Number 2. 37 points in in a quarter. This is by far the most incredible 12 minutes of basketball I think any of us have ever witnessed. 1625 shots, November 15th from three-point range, and 52 points in an onslaught of the poor Sacramento Kings. Remember how Klay claimed the record with the most threes in a game with 14. He hit 9 three-pointers in just one quarter. Klay had 50 points entering the fourth quarter, but again we didn't ultimately get to see what Klay could have maybe pulled off if he played another few minutes in the final period. I mean, just listen to the Golden State announcers on some of these epic shots he was hitting in the fourth. They were in awe over what they were witnessing. And the Warriors kept feeding Klay the ball. This corner three with 1 minute left in the third quarter tore down Oracle Arena and baffled the Kings players like, is this seriously happening to us? In just one quarter, Klay was perfect from the field with 13 shots, hit 9 threes, and broke the record for the most points in a quarter in NBA history. That record might stand for quite a while, don't you think? Number 1. Klay's greatest game ever and the birth of Game 6 Klay. At just 26 years old, Klay Thompson was already becoming known as one of the greatest shooters of all time with rarely efficient scoring capabilities. But his best playoff moment was still due, and he answered that bell in a crucial Game 6 on the road with his team in a 3-2 hole. The Warriors were of course coming off of their record-breaking 73-win season that desperately needed a championship as the finisher to validate all of the theatrics during the 82 games in the regular season. But when they lost Game 4 by a 24-point margin and went down 3-1, OKC fans let the Warriors hear it was as if they thought their team just shunned a 73-win team. Klay took note of that. Klay had a sneaky solid first half in Game 6, but it was the second half where he caught fire. After a modest 6 points in the 3-RD, here came the birth of Game 6 Klay. He got the party started by nailing a right-wing 3 off a screen, the first of an epic 7 three-pointers he hit in just the fourth quarter. With under 5 minutes to play in regulation, Klay drilled this deep three-pointer at the top of the key in. The face of Russell Westbrook stuck fear into the building. Klay was getting hotter, and OKC was getting this much closer to being forced to play a Game 7 on the road, and OKC fans were shook. That shot gave Klay his 10th three-pointer of the night and trimmed the OKC lead to 4. And then, the dagger, to give him an NBA playoff record 11 three-pointers on the night. Klay ripped the hearts out of OKC by absolutely ripping a right-wing three-pointer that effectively forced a Game 7 on the Warriors' home floor. Klay's reaction after hitting that dagger was elite. He exploded with energy knowing that it was because of him, and the Warriors inched closer to an all-time playoff comeback. In one of the biggest games in franchise history, Klay went off for 41 points and reigned in a record 11 threes with 7 huge threes in the fourth quarter. Klay led the Warriors to an iconic win, and thus, the birth of Game 6 Klay. Despite being the second or third option throughout his entire career, Klay is the owner of several records and milestones and has done a few things that only he has accomplished in NBA history. 37 points in a quarter, 9 threes in a quarter, the most threes in a single game, and famously scoring 40, 50, 60 points in a game with just a couple of dribbles. So, did that convince you? Do let us know in the comments section below and get a chance to win a brand new PS5. If you enjoyed watching the video, do like and share, and yes, don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thank you so much.